Hello guys, and welcome back to another video. And in this video, I'm going to be showing you my new calculator. So yeah, the reason I'm showing you this calculator before I show you my new one is just to show you my evolution of calculators. Yeah, this one's pretty basic, does that. And then oh wait, you already saw it in the thumbnail, but yeah. And then here's my next calculator. And then I want to show you my next calculator. And this is the one that I've been working on for a while. So, this is the entire calculator, as you can see. And let's flip on calculate. So now everything will show up. And let's do something like, 1. So 1 shows up. And let's do like 1 plus 6, which equals 7. And as you can see, 1 plus 6 goes to 7. And basically, it just works for every single other number. For instance, 5 plus 6 11, and we should get 11. Yep, there it is. Alright, so now time for the last function. As you can see, I added a double number system. So let's do this. Click on 8, and that should equal to 16. Here it is, equal to 16. So as you can see, everything works out flawlessly. So I think it's finally time I reveal to you the calculator. Do not be scared, my dear friends. Just know it does look a little bit big, as you have seen in the thumbnail. Alright, here we go. Yes, this is the calculator. It does look a very big and complex calculator. We got all these things, like, look at that. That's really big and complex. This is complex. This is complex. Actually, if we view it from like one of these angles, you can just see how many wires and entanglements there are for the entire calculator and how many AND gates there are in this thing. And this is actually the most complex part right here. And as you can see, everything like interconnects and yeah, it's just really complex. And you got this thing here, which is like wired in from multiple different points along these lines, and you got like, look at these lines. Like, these things go all the way down. See how big that is? Like, it's really, really, really big. You got all the AND gates involved. And, yeah. So I'm going to be trying to explain to you how this calculator actually is not complex at all, and how this calculator is actually really simple. So I'm going to be explaining that to you right now. So, right now, I'm going to tell you how simple this calculator actually is. So, let's just, for a moment, select a number, which I already have selected, and that's 9. So, what's going to happen is this 9 is going to be directly connected to the screen. As you can see right here, this line right here is directly connected to the screen from the 9, which is right here. So, the signal goes along here and it goes directly to 9. But when we want to add a number, watch what will happen. Let's do 9 plus 1. And by the way, if you're wondering, 0 doesn't do anything because, well, 0 doesn't have the exact number on the calculator. As you can see, it goes to 10 immediately. What ends up happening is the line for 9 gets unattached by this piston here. And the reason this happens is because if we go to where 9 is, hold on, this might take a second, right here. So this is the 10 AND gate right here. So basically 9 will come in, and 1 will come in. So since AND gates need 2 inputs to create 1 output, all I did was just connect 9 and 1 to this. Really simple. So it's just 2 inputs to create 1 output. And this will just go and connect to 10. And as we follow this here, as you can see, it just goes and connects to 10. But when I was making this calculator, I noticed some issues. And that was that, for instance, this 9 and 1 would still stay on the screen, and I had to remove it somehow. So, in this output, I also made it where it would individually remove the pistons that it needed to remove. As you can see, this does it flawlessly. It removes that, and the 1 also gets removed. The 1 is a bit more complex though, but it works in the same principle. As you can see, this got removed because this is getting powered. So, that's basically how it would work. There's also this thing for 1 as well, but it's a bit more complex and has a lot more connections. I will talk about this in a second though, but basically all this does is it takes specific inputs to make sure that 1 doesn't go off, because I had specific problems with 1 specifically, because this does include 0, which as you can see doesn't attach to anything. Because this calculator used to have a 0 here, this one activates basically 0 and 1, but because I shifted everything forward, it activated 1 and 2, and that was a big issue. And actually you can sort of see this, how it activates these 2 lines here. So that's why I wanted to need this complex thing right here to just sort of stabilize it out. But other than that, everything else works in the same exact fashion. Have 2 inputs, have 1 output that goes to the screen, and then that output just shuts off other outputs that are on the screen. And after doing that for a very long time, this is what the outcome is. A very huge, and even though looks complex, isn't actually as complex as you might think. So, there is one last part to this calculator, and I will show you it, and that is the double number system. The double number system works very easily, and I'll just select a number. How about 9, because I've been using it this entire time. If I select number 9 will show up first, but it will then go to the double number, to 18. This actually works very simply by having these 9 AND gates here. And when you activate the double number system, it just activates these lines, which go and put out 1 output. And then, once you activate the correct number, or whatever number you chose, it will then disable this one, allowing there to be an output. And this output just goes all the way to 18. Actually, if we follow it, you will see that it just goes directly into 18. So that is how this calculator works. And like I said before, the most complex part is this and that piece over there. And the reason really is because if you do notice, you see how this part looks a bit more unorganized than this part? This is because when I first made the calculator, I didn't exactly know how to place things in the correct order. Therefore, it created this one unorganizing sort of complex thing that I had to figure out. And yes, it did take a long time, and yes, it did involve this for some reason. So yeah, it did take a while. And because I was so fed up of that, I just created a new design, which is this. And to be fully honest, I'm just going to be using this design every time I make a new calculator from here on out, because this design is like a lifesaver for me. It basically saved my life. It really is a good design. And the only reason this is the most complex part is because basically a lot of stuff has to interconnect to this to shut off those like extra lights we don't want. So basically there's a lot of connections here, and even though it's better in this part has like the most connections. As you can see, like look how complex this is. Like almost everywhere you go has just redstone wires hanging around everywhere, and I've had to get pretty creative to power some of these pistons and unpower pistons. So yeah, it's basically the entire calculator. I obviously didn't talk about one thing, that's just the calculate thing, which just drops all these pistons down, and that's basically all it does. So yeah, basically that's my calculator. I do want to show one other thing. I do want to show you how big it is compared to my other calculator, and I feel like this will give you a good sense of scale, just how big it is. But yeah, that's my other calculator, and as you can see, they're almost the exact same length. This one is longer, of course, just because of how I made it, but this one's more compact and dense. To give you an idea on how long this calculator would be, if I tried to do the same amount of calculations this calculator does, this calculator would be past 32 render distance, so I would basically never be able to load it at all. So yeah, that basically concludes this calculator. And as you can see, it's just so cool. It's so massive and just amazing. It's really just amazing with how many AND gates I put into this thing. So that is this calculator. I really do hope you enjoyed it. Also, look at this view. Isn't that cool? All those like little diagonals coming down. So yeah, anyways, I do hope you enjoyed this video. And yeah, definitely see you in the next one, which will be a Futurecraft video. And yeah. Alright guys. Hopefully you have enjoyed. And I'd like to say one last thing. And that last thing, of course, is bye.